Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at my offensive and defensive settings in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. I'm going to show y'all the settings that I put on before every single game, competitive or even normal game, and explain why I use those settings and how I think they benefit me in 2K22 and how hopefully they can help benefit you as well. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,500 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading new content every single day, multiple videos most days. Gonna have 2 videos out for y'all today, probably a couple videos out for y'all tomorrow as well. Basically every single day uploading multiple videos. So if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help support me. Without further ado, let's hop right into it, and let's start off with me first. I'm just gonna go over my coach. So this is my main team right now. There are places that I can improve on this team, but it's definitely a solid squad. I definitely have a very, very good team. And then over in the coaching, is it glitched? The coaching tab is glitched. Okay, that's weird. I've never seen that before. Anyways, I don't know why that's glitched, but point being, my coach right now is Monty Williams. I definitely do recommend getting a top coach, a Monty Williams, a Quinn Snyder, a Doc Rivers on the other side, Steve Nash. One of these guys are going to be the best coaches for you. For me personally, I think Monty Williams is the best coach because he does a really good job of boosting a lot of balanced things. He boosts speed, he boosts three-pointer, he boosts perimeter defense, he boosts a couple other stats that I think are very important. He's a really good balanced coach, and I don't know why I can't show. I'm really confused as to why I can't show the coaching tab right now. That's definitely odd. Not something I've experienced in the past. But whatever the case may be, I'm gonna hop into some domination just so I can show you all the settings and show you how I implement them in game. All right, so this is going to be for current gen first, and the first thing that I will do is I will come over to defensive settings and I will turn my off-ball pressure on to tight, or my on-ball pressure on to tight. I feel like this works really, really well because the way the contest system this year is, I don't feel like I have to have it on smother. In the past, I would have put this on smother because I think that helps more with contest system, but this year players are so good at getting through screens and getting contests, the defensive AI, that I feel like putting it on tight works perfectly, and it makes it even harder for them to get past the ball, or to get past the defender and get to the rim as well, because I have a little bit more space between the defender and the ball handler, but also still am close enough to get through screens and get contests and stuff like that, because just the way that how good the defensive AI is, especially if you put an elite on-ball defender like a Kawhi Leonard, a Cliff Hagan, a Daryl Griffith, any player honestly with gold clamps and a decent steal and perimeter defensive rating, they're going to be really good on defense. But the guy that I use on ball mainly is Kawhi Leonard. That off-ball pressure I put on deny ball on current gen. This is what I do on current gen because and I'll try to show you all this in the game real quickly, but the players will help in very far from the opposite side of the court. When the ball's on the right side of the court, for example, the players on the left hash and the left corner will often help way far in, almost to the paint, for really no reason, and it leaves those guys on the wings and in that corner on the opposite side of the court relatively open, and sometimes you can't recover to that if you just let your player sit there. And I think I feel like when it's on deny ball, it helps prevent that and keep those players better guarded without opening yourself up to be back cut too much. If somebody does effectively back cut me a bunch with my ball pressure being on deny ball, I will switch it to tight, but that's something that I just change on a game-by-game basis depending on the way my opponent's playing. But typically I like to start the game with that on deny ball. On on-ball screen, I put this on go over. On off-ball screen, I put this on go, or on-ball screen center, I put this on go over. I just like to make sure basically the guy who is playing the ball handler attempts to go over the screen, fight through the screen. I feel like that helps them not switch as much. The CPUs just switch a lot in this game for whatever reason, no matter what you set this thing, whatever you set these screens to, whatever you set these hedges to, the CPUs will switch no matter what sometimes. But I really think that go over typically gives me a better chance of letting my on-ball defender, typically a guy like Kawhi Leonard, fight through the screen and hopefully not switch, so that I can continue to play my pick and roll defense the way that I want to. Hedge, I put this on catch hedge. I put same thing on center. I put both of these on catch hedge. I put both of these on go over. Catch hedge I feel like is just the perfect way where the center kind of sits in between. The goal of that is so that the center basically sits in between the guy coming off of the screen and the pick and roll guy, so you can bait the pass to the pick and roll without overcommitting too high to get a contest or to switch the screen and then be on the ball handler. I don't want them switching the screen. I feel like catch hedge typically, at least in theory, and hopefully they'll make it so that that works every single time, because no matter what you put your hedge on, they'll still switch randomly at times. But when you put it on catch hedge, I feel like they switch less, and the center is in a good position to play the role and get a steal on that, and also have the ability to get a contest if the ball handler beats the on-ball defender and attempts to attack the basket. I feel like catch hedge is the most effective hedge, so that's the one that I use. And then screen help rules, I'll come down here and I'll turn the help rules on drive help and screen help to no help. Still, again, players will drop out of the corner for no reason. They'll do it on both gens. It's very annoying, but it is what it is. That's how players play this year. The defensive AI does things like drop out of the corner and switch for no reason, which are annoying, but I think no help does help to make it happen less. Offensive settings, all I will do on current gen is I will come over here to play selection. I'll put in quick 5 out as one play, ISO 5 out as another play. It gives me 2 different 5 out options. That's really all I do. ISO 5 out just gives me the ability to 5 out with my player on the wing, or my ball handler on the wing. Quick 5 out gives me the ability to also 5 out with player on the wing, and then I will come over here, but they're different spacings basically, and then I will come over here to Hawks 2018 as my freelance, and then I think most of y'all know Hawks 2018 is the freelance that you put in. You just run past the screen away and it gives you a 5 out with your ball handler on the top. So these are a couple of different options of 5 out. I'll put in these 2 plays and then put in Hawks 2018 as my offensive settings, and that's all I do over here. Coach settings, I turn the adaptive coaching engine off. It'll be on offense and defense when you're on online games. For whatever reason, it doesn't save, but on offline games it does. But it'll be on offense and defense. I just turn it off so that they don't change anything, because the CPU coach will like change certain settings and things that you're doing in game if you don't turn it off. So you definitely want to make sure that you turn this off. And then finally, I come over to coaching sliders. I turn the health defensive slider all the way down. I turn the run plays frequency slider all the way down, because I don't want my players moving around like while I'm trying to run my offense and do whatever I'm doing. I don't want random players cutting and stuff like that, and I think this helps prevent that. And then finally, zone usage frequency, I turn that down as well. I don't think this slider actually matters. I think this could literally be at 100, and if you have your adaptive coaching engine off and are in man-to-man, they're not going to run a zone, but I always turn this off anyway, and I just like to turn down these 3 things. So these are the 3 things I do in the coaching sliders, and that's really it in terms of my settings. On current gen, I'll hop into this game real quickly. I'm using a gold team, so ignore that kind of, because I just didn't want to use the contracts in a game basically. But point being, I'll show you all the in-game settings that I do real quickly as well, and then I'll hop over to next gen, and I'll make it a little bit quicker on next gen, because a lot of what I do on next gen is very similar to current gen. But whatever the case may be, I will basically, if I win the tip here, I'll just show you all the offensive settings that I do. All I do on offense is right on the D-pad, LB or L1, and then click my A to get into my freelance. That's all I'll do on offense. That's the only offensive setting I'll do. And then I'll show you the defensive settings that I do now that I scored. I will hit right on the D-pad again, LB to stay home, right on the D-pad, crash the glass, right on the D-pad, play physical, and then right on the D-pad, wall up. Those are the 4 settings I will do in game on defense, and those are all my settings. And then hopefully y'all can see now, if they can get the ball into a guy on at the top of the court, watch how close my defensive players are playing. They're playing far close to the ball. They're not dropping too much. They are in a position where they can be back cut to a certain extent, but they're not like playing off of the off-ball players, which in the past they will do, and it's really annoying when you just give up a wide open 3 because your defensive player isn't sitting where you would want them to be sitting basically, and give up a wide open 3 because they're just not guarding it. So that's why I put deny ball on off-ball pressure. So that really is all of my current gen settings. I know I kind of rambled a lot, but I hope I explained the mindset of the way that I do my settings and why I do that way. So let's hop over to next gen, and I will show you the settings that I use over on next gen. All right, hopping over to the next gen settings. The menus look different, but generally speaking, what I do is the same. I will come over here to defensive settings. I will turn my on-ball pressure onto tight for the same reasons that I put my on-ball pressure on tight on current gen. On off-ball pressure, I will start with this one on tight on next gen. I do it differently on next gen because I don't feel like my players space on the opposite side of the court. I don't feel like they space as far off of the offensive players on that side of the court. I think the off-ball defenders do a better job of staying closer to the defender there, so I'll put it on tight so that I can't get back cut very easily. On-ball screen, same thing. Put it on go over, put it on go over, hedge, catch, hedge, and then the screen help settings, which is harder to find here because there's more things in here, but I don't touch any of these things. I will just go to the screen help, and I'll turn these both on no help. They'll still help, but I will turn that on no help sometimes. Also, the way that you change matchups, there is a matchups tab on current gen. On next gen, there's not a matchups tab. You have to actually use the left bumper and right bumper to actually go to the players that you're trying to assign matchups to. But point being, if this was the opponent point guard, because you go RB, this is the opponent point guard, then you come over here to matchup, you use the right stick to switch to the matchup that you want to put on that player. I don't have Kawhi Leonard on this team because I didn't want to spend the contracts, but I'll typically put Kawhi Leonard on the primary ball handler, Fred VanVleet on the secondary ball handler, and then Mitch Richmond on the third ball handler is typically how I would put my guys, like Kawhi Leonard on the 1, Fred VanVleet on the shooting guard, and then Mitch Richmond on the small forward. So offensive settings are down here, and I'll just come over here to freelance, put on Hawks 2018. That's all I do. I don't put any plays on next gen. The play menu on next gen is annoying. It's harder to call plays, I feel like. So all I do is Hawks 2018. So I have the proper spacing for my pick and rolls and to call pass and screen away when I want to. Now, then I come down to coaching settings. Again, this will be on offense and defense if you're in an offensive game, or if you're in an online game. So you want to turn that to off. And another thing that you probably want to do that I didn't actually mention on current gen is turn this late game fouling to manual in the event that you're down late in the game. You don't probably want to be intentionally fouling immediately. If you, for example, turn the ball over down 4 with 33 seconds left, you might want to send a double team or things like that, or try to bait for a pass, and you don't want your CPU fouling and putting them on the line automatically. So I like to turn that on manual, so then I am the one who controls if my CPU fouls or not. And then finally, coaching sliders, I will turn my help defense all the way down, run plays frequency all the way down, and zone usage frequency all the way down. So basically, all that I do most everything the same on next gen. There's just a couple things I changed. The off-ball pressure I changed, and then the matchup menu is changed as well. And then in terms of defensive settings in here, I don't really change a lot on this. You can go in here to this game plan stuff and I'll come in here to game plan. I just let them score on me. So anyways, on offense, I'm sorry, you'll come down here, right on the D-pad, down on the D-pad till you get to freelance. You have to go down, and then A on Hawks 2018. You have to use the D-pad for all the menu stuff in this. You can't use the bumpers, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. And then on defense, you can come over here to game plan, hit A, come down to no drive help, hit A. And I think that's the best thing you can change on here. Otherwise, there's not a lot. I mean, you could come down here to rebound as well. You can put this on like limit transition, for example. Except those are the offensive rebounding menus. You can do all these things in the menus on next gen, and I don't think that they're bad, but I don't actually use any of them except for that game plan where I put it on no drive help. But that's the only thing that I really changed. So yeah, I mean, that pretty much is the entire settings. I mean, defensive settings and offensive settings on both gens are pretty similar. There are a couple of in-game settings that I do differently, but that's about it. So if this video did help you out, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.